DJ Ty here from AGI Pro DJ along with DJ Rick.
Hi everybody.
We just got through shooting our PRX versus PRX 618S XLF versus KW181 comparison video. We got phenomenal response to that. Thank you everybody for watching that. People seem to really enjoy and really love the versus videos. We have a good time shooting them. We had a great time with the last one, little bashing each other. You saw a little taste of what goes on around here on a daily basis, and that's just with two of us. Imagine what it's like with everyone. It's a fun place to work, and we really enjoy making these videos for you guys and love showing off these fantastic products. Today we're bringing you the JBL PRX 612M, the QSC KW122, and over there closest to Rick on his left is the QSC K12. These are our three most popular 12-inch two-way powered speakers. They're similar in a lot of ways and different in a lot as well. All 1,000 watts, different materials or enclosures. I'm going to go over the JBL and I'm going to hand it off to Rick to go over the KW and the K12. So this is it. This is the JBL PRX 612M. This is their 34.5-pound, 12-inch two-way, 1,000 watt powered speaker. It's made out of 18mm poplar plywood. It's got their Duraflex coating, which seals up the cabinet. It's a super tight cabinet, no seams, no air loss anywhere, and that makes for a great sounding speaker. Again, at 34.5 pounds, it's ultra portable, can be pull mounted as you see here. It can be used as a monitor wedge. You can see there are small rubber feet to lay it on the floor as a monitor. We go around to the back. It's a passively cooled amplifier module, just like the 618S XLF. Again, it's 1,000 watts. This gets a little warm because there's no active cooling here, but this heatsink is the amp chassis. It's right on the back side of this. And this getting warm is a good thing. You don't want the components that are inside absorbing all the heat because that's going to deteriorate and shorten the life of your speaker. This thing getting warm is what it's designed to do. You've got a Planet Earth power supply in here. You can switch between 115 and 240. Power switches on the back. You've got XLR and combo input here, and then it's got an out for daisy chaining as well. Gain controls, if you want to plug a mic directly into it, there's a little marker on there visually that shows where to set it if you're doing a mic in directly, and you can switch the input from mic to line, and then of course up here at Unity where you would set it most of the time for programmed music. There's an EQ button on here, and we got some insight from my JBL rep, Todd. Thanks so much for getting back to us today on this to get this info in the video. There's two settings here. There's the EQ setting can be set for main, which is for full program volume. When you're pull mounting it, running it for PA, you can switch it into monitor mode, and there's a couple different reasons you do this. The monitor mode makes it roll off at 90 Hertz. And so what that's doing is getting rid of that muddy bottom end that you would want to get rid of if you're using it as a monitor wedge for vocal or vocal reinforcement. Let's say you're using it for a monitor wedge for a keyboard player. You might want to not have that thing roll off so you do get a little more clarity on the bottom end and a full range of what you're actually playing. So there's definitely different uses. When this thing's coupled with the floor and that monitor is engaged, that eliminates that lower roll off that you're going to get by that coupling with the floor and enhancing the bottom end on the speaker. So that's it. This is the PRX 612M 1,000 watt monitor, 134 dB, 34.5 pounds. This thing's loaded up with DBX Type 4 engineering inside. They didn't just throw an amp module in the box, they built an engineered system here. There are matched components as well as electronic circuitry that gives you correct and active crossover points, the right EQing, the right compression as well. JBL spent a lot of time and listened to a lot of people with the feedback that they gave on the 500 series. Rick and I were talking earlier this morning, and we've noticed some posts around on the internet where people have said, well, the 600 is no better than the 500, and that is 100% incorrect information. This is a completely re-engineered design. There was an odd gate that the 500 had, so at really low volumes, the speaker would try to gate off the end of the actual audio coming through it because there was such a high noise floor on the 500. This is actually 9 dB quieter. Anybody that knows anything about audio knows that at 10, for every 10 decibels, sounds twice as loud to the human ear. So 9 dB is phenomenally huge difference. I mean, that's some major re-engineering. New amplifier modules in these. It's 20% smaller.
Yes, it's 15% lighter, 20% smaller.
Right, so we made a joke in the subwoofer video about about DJs not caring about the environment and not wanting something to be green, but this is actually JBL's Green Edge certified. They use less materials to manufacture the box. The plastic caps are gone off the top and the bottom. It's smaller, it's lighter, less fuel and less energy to make, less petroleum products in the box, and less fuel to transport it because it's lighter. So go figure. That's important to some folks. It's important to me. I'd actually like to have an Earth for my kids to live on when they get older. And so that's it. This is the 612M from JBL. This is my favorite. I love it. Rick, tell us about the other two. These are phenomenal sounding boxes, and Rick's got these down to a science.
They are phenomenal. We've done a lot of videos, and yeah, these are the best-selling 12-inch active speakers in the category right now, but part of the reason for that is if you hop on any DJ forum, these are the three that seem to be asked about a ton. And just to stem off Ty, your comment about things being lighter, it's funny, people will complain if speakers are heavy, why don't you make them lighter? It's interesting that you make a speaker like this lighter and a speaker like this lighter, and all of a sudden people are saying, why don't I have two handles? Well, be careful what you ask for to make it lighter. There's one handle on that guy and there's one on this guy. A good segue to make is JBL talks a lot about having a closed system, and I guess what they're referring to by that is rather than an external amplifier, an external signal processor, it's all built inside there. Anyone can throw an amplifier into a box and call it a powered speaker. It's altogether different to have something that's been designed and engineered from day one at inception to make everything work together. The cabinet, the measurements in a room, the amplifier, and that's where Crown and JBL and QSC all have advantages. To kind of mirror off the last video we did, it's a win-win no matter what you get here. That product, the JBL, sounds outstanding, and I'll be the first to admit it. But going into some of what you're getting with the K series and the KW series, again, these are both 12-inch active loudspeakers, both 1,000 watts. We've shown a ton of videos on the K series. I don't know if we could really shoot more video about the differences in the features that have been engineered into this cabinet. The birth of KW really came from a K series in a wood cabinet. So instead of the 15 millimeter poplar plywood, this is made out of an 18 millimeter birch, Baltic birch wood. So it's a wood cabinet, K series in a wood cabinet. This weighs 49 pounds. The K12, which is made out of an ABS material, is 41 pounds. So in terms of ranking these by weight, you've got 49, 41, and 34.5. One of the things that Ty, you mentioned in the last comparison versus video was electronic trickery being used by QSC to make their product sound better. To that, I would just combat by saying, why not use electronic trickery? And that's the whole spirit of engineering and innovation, is to use the tools you have to make something sound better. And in my own opinion, I think that QSC has done a fabulous job of that. The back panel is a great indicator of a lot of things that are going on. We've done specific videos on directivity match transition, or what QSC calls DMT. It's not just a gimmick, it's actually something that works and you can hear the difference. The low frequency settings, we've got an external, normal, and deep setting. Deep setting is great. I actually use that personally. It makes a big difference. We have videos that talk about that. External sub setting, to me, this is a true crossover, and I know when I engage external sub that anything below 100 Hertz is not getting reproduced by the speaker. That's useful information to have, and I know when that setting is there that that's what's going to happen. Vocal boost, this is a nice little effect to engage the mid-range and vocal content. There is something called intrinsic correction. There's something called guardrail. There's a universal power supply. There's a ton of stuff that has gone into this. And in just comparing the back panel between these two, this is what you hop on the forums and some guys will say, I've got more flexibility with the QSC product than I do. Let's just cover up Ty here for a second. I mean, look, the difference in the back is definitely pretty striking. You've got an extra channel entirely. There's an A and B input. You could actually have an RCA input on this one, and you have a post-gain mix. So if you have two different sources, and for guys that don't have a mixing board, or if you don't want to pay for a mixing board, it's kind of built in here. So that advantage in and of itself may not seem useful to you initially, but you never know. It could be a feature that ends up paying for itself on one event. This does have an adjustable mic and level input gain, so you can actually choose on the KW series what kind of gain that you want on this input. That is different from the K series. The KW has this. The other thing that we can just look at is the difference between how these tilt. And I'm going to actually take this one off. This one is called Tilt Direct. We've shown this before, but you can actually control the angle, the 7.5 degree angle from 0 to 7.5. It's a little bit different, same concept, but what's going on with your speaker there, Ty?
So it's a little bit different with the JBL. JBL chose to do a dual hole in theirs. This is something that they've done on previous model speakers as well, where you've got the 90 degree pull mount and then the forward tilt pull mount as well. So same thing, one's potato, one's potato.
Mm-hmm. A lot of this comes down to personal preference. That's kind of what it boils down to. You know, we sell DJ headphones here as well, and we'll get a guy that hops on chat and says, what's the best DJ headphone you have? And there's no right or wrong way to answer that question. You know, if someone tells me that the Pioneer HDJ 2000 is the best headphone in the world,
it is. For at least that we carry for DJs. There are certainly more expensive. Sennheiser's got an $800 pair of headphones, and Lord knows there's some audiophile grade headphones out there, but personally I think the HDJ 2000 sound better than anything that we carry.
Yeah, and yet another person that has a $50 pair of headphones, it's all subjective. He may think that that headphone sounds better than a $400 set of headphones.
Exactly.
The bottom line is we've got some pretty amazing choices here. This obviously is a small video, but feel free to email us, call us, hop on the chat tool. There's plenty more to say about these speakers that hasn't been, you know, encompassed into this whole video, but it is preference. Every single one of these is a winner. You're a winner.
You're a winner.
Thank you.
And you guys, you're a winner too. So I think the bottom line thing to here to remember is that these are all fantastic products. They all sound phenomenal. Making the headphone comparison, there's a ton of winners out there, and each one of these products in their own right and in their own presence sounds phenomenal. And it really just kind of boils down to personal preference. Where Rick prefers the QSC products, I prefer the way the JBL products sound. One of our customers is going to prefer the QSC versus the JBL or even another brand, but these three products are a great representation of phenomenal sounding speakers, and they definitely represent the bang for the buck.
And one thing I'd also throw out there too is just, you know, there are some people that are JBL guys, there are QSC guys. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes on a forum to read somebody say, oh, anybody that doesn't own JBL is stupid and they're out of their mind. I would own this speaker, and I would own this series, and I probably will. And if people want to call and talk to us more specifically about why, there's a lot more to be told about the strengths and maybe some downsides of each and every one of these things. But, you know, not to sound like we're all giddy, but they're all three great choices.
Absolutely.
I own every single one of the series of these guys. Again, I'll probably end up owning that one, and I was impressed when I heard that one as well. We've got more to talk about.
Definitely. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. We hope you enjoyed another Versus video from us here at AGI Pro DJ. I'm DJ Ty.
DJ Rick. Thanks for watching.